it's happened already. I've completed 3 race weekends in the XJS and I've suffered the worst kind of mechanical failure. That's right, I need to replace a brake disc. So, brake disc replacement. I'm sure many of us have done it before. You jack the car up, remove the wheel, and then you just grab the old disc. Wait, what? Ah, shite. Not even 2 months into my first season with the XJS and its inboard rear discs, and the time has come already. It's a rotten bit of luck, but there's no two ways about it. We just got to deal with it. We're going to have to drop the rear frame. So, involved doesn't really cover it. We need to detach the trailing arms, which I've made a start on here, the anti-roll bar, the brake line to the rear frame, and then we need to unbolt the frame from the car and drop the whole lot. Now, this unit here weighs 250 kilos, there or thereabouts. So this is not a simple job. The first and most immediate hurdle is the trailing arms, which are bolted on through this sort of safety strap. That wasn't a problem. I've got rid of those and that'll clear now. But over time, the inside cup of the bushing here actually sort of becomes one with the mounts on the body, and it can be a real bloody nightmare to get them off, and both of mine are putting up rather a significant level of fight. This one has had some movement, but just not enough, and honestly, yeah, it don't want to move. There's no need to panic if the trailing arms don't want to become detached, because there's quite a few simple techniques that can be used to encourage them along. Precision is the name of the game. Using the correct amount of leverage in the correct way. Being calm, collected, and getting it done slowly and methodically. Come on, you bastard! Come on! Right, I got a bit bored of just beating the shit out of the trailing arm mounts without them moving, so I distracted myself by disconnecting the anti-roll bar, the brake line and the drive shaft. I haven't actually taken apart the roll bar at the drop links here. I'm not sure if I'll need to do that. It looks to me like it will drop just with it all disconnected from the body of the car there. The prop has been disconnected, but I've just propped it at the moment so it doesn't drop anywhere. I've got my mechanic on hand to inspect my work. Supervisor's here and she reckons it's okay. Don't you, Lola? Oh no, she's not happy with that. No, I'm going to get it telling off in a minute, I think. Yeah, so actually the trailing arm mounts is all that's left now to start really thinking about the process of getting it on a jack and disconnecting the mounts for the frame. Easy as that, right? Right, several hours later and I've changed tack because these will not move. They just won't. They're not coming off. All I've managed to do by prying at them and hammering them and wrestling with them is to release the inner jag gradually. They're not coming off, so I've changed my tack. I've instead unbolted the other end from the hub. And if I can free the anti-roll bar from the drop link, which I can't seem to at the moment, I may be able to move that from the other end and see if I can lever it that way. But in terms of what I need to get done now, by way of the brakes, I've decided I might try and do it with the cage in the car, or at least give myself the option. So I can drop this bottom arm. I've released the shock mountings and trailing arm mounting, which means I can bring this bottom arm down, which means that I can then undo those bolts to pull the hub out that way, because with this setup, the drive shafts actually set the camber angle. So that is what's controlling the camber. Weird, isn't it? But yeah, so if I can get those bolts undone, I can pull the drive shaft forwards and hopefully get the disc off. If I get enough clearance from the bottom arm, I might need to take the bottom off the cage to get the bottom arm to drop far enough to clear the disc, and that's before we even get to the caliper mountings, which yeah, they're going to be great fun, I imagine. I'm really looking forward to getting to those. One cool thing is, well, we're down here and looking at it. Oh, well, you can see the crack. That's been pretty visible this whole time. That is the reason that we're doing this. That yeah, that's got a little bit hot, I'm going to suggest. But yeah, you can also see, if I maneuver my camera up here, that is where my air feed goes to. The side intakes behind the quarter lights on the car feed pipes that sort of go woo down into the bulkhead, and that's where they end up, feeding cool air to these brakes, but obviously not enough to have prevented that disc from cracking. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do go outboard for reasons basically just like this. I don't know. I don't want to give up on them just yet. I don't know how long these have been on the car. Hopefully they've been on there for 15 years. And it was, you know, it's just got crap over time anyway. But, you know, we'll see. I'll throw a new set on. We'll stay inboard, see how we go, and see how our luck is going forwards. I can highly recommend this job to anyone who likes nuts and bolts fasteners, because you won't see variety like it anywhere else. We've got metric, we've got imperial. It's an absolute hodgepodge of whatever Jaguar decided to throw on. And we've even got a unique type here. Oh, this is quite clever. This is the trailing arm mount. And yeah, check that out. Isn't that fun? It's actually there for a very good reason. It's so that it can clear the shock mount. Because a full headed bolt wouldn't clear the shock mount. But yeah, all sorts of sizes, weird and wonderful metric and imperial going on here, and the lovely guys and girls at Jaguar also managed to ensure that not a single one of them could be done with anything other than the box end of a spanner. So when you've got about 40 centimetres of thread to undo, you're there for about 6 hours. Cheers, chaps. So whilst I'm down here, and now that I've removed the bottom plate from the cage, I can explain why this is gone from a frame out job to potentially just the discs. As you can see, this diff is yeah, not very well sealed at the moment. It's a bit leaky, a bit weepy. It's not actually as bad as it looks. I promise, it's not as bad as it looks, but it's yeah, it could do with resealing. So I was hoping to drop the cage, get the quarter shafts out, and get them resealed and thrown back in, because I believe that's where it's leaking from. But that is a nice to do, not a need to do. Obviously the brake disc is a need to do. Don't have that much time between now and Oulton Park, so I'm going to keep on wrestling with the discs. If I find that I can get this disc off just by disassembling the suspension, then I'll just do that, throw the discs on, reassemble the whole lot, and then get back to dropping it and sorting the diff out some other time. I'm nearly to the point of pulling this half shaft off. I've just got one bolt. It's always one bolt, which goes through the disc. I don't know if my focus is going to really work, but it's through the front of the disc there, and then there's a nut on it on this side of the disc. You can see it there, and that's all the others are off, but that one there started coming and is now bound up, really bound up. So I've given up swearing at it. I soaked it in penetrating fluid overnight, and now I just need to find an approach that will get that off, because getting a spanner on the front is no joke. It's really difficult to grip the face of that bolt without it's starting to round, especially with the amount of torque that it's taking to free this, which is a lot. Yeah, it's very, very difficult not to round the front face of this bolt, especially as it's an American size, and I don't have that many spanners in American sizes. That's something that's really gnarled me off actually about doing this, is I get really, really peed off whenever I encounter anything American sized. It's just part of being, I suppose, a bit younger. I've never had to deal with all this on any other car I've had, and it just infuriates me so much needing a spanner that's 480 seconds of a yard. You know, piss off. Just use proper normal sizes like a normal person. So this job has been really fun for me because so far I've had to use, let me think, a 3/8, 5/8, a ½ inch, 7/16, 9/16, 11/16, and more, I think, as well as a 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 19, and 18 mil. Yeah, this is a joke, really. It's caused me a lot of distress. I think if I ever have this sort of problem again, then I'm going to seriously consider going outboard, because this is just not on, really. I won! I won! We went toe to toe, and I beat you. I won! You lost. Right. That is the last bolt for the half shaft. So the theory is that this will now pull off the hub. I'm going to lower the hub on the jack and then try and pull it out. Alright, it put up a fight, because of course it did, but it's free, and we can see the full scale of the carnage. Oof. I'm quite glad that I spotted that before racing on it. Although, even after I'd spotted it, I was still half tempted to go out. Silly boy. Wouldn't have ended well, would it? Right. Disc is free. I can see the brake disc. Awesome. Just need to get to the caliper mounts, and we should be able to free this puppy off. Wow. I've just seen where the caliper mounts are. I hate this car. Right, so we're on to plan F, G, don't know. Let's just call it plan C, makes it simpler. I am going to try and drop the rear cage. I'm going to try to do it with the trailing arms and roll bar still in the car, because those mounts are pretty badly seized, and I don't think I'll get them off without rounding them, and the cups at the front of the trailing arm, yeah, no chance. So this side, I've already taken the drive shaft off. Luckily the hub assembly doesn't weigh that much, so I can lift that up, that's not a problem, by hand. On this side, I haven't disassembled it so much. I have removed the lower shock mount and the trailing arm mount, and then managed to lever that up over the top so that the trailing arm and anti-roll bar hopefully won't interfere with the cage too much as it comes down. I'm hoping I can drop the cage off the top, and then as it comes down sort of manoeuvre that around. Don't know, we'll see. There's a little bit of wiggle room to play with. And then the plan is to drop it onto these dollies and then wheel it around somewhere that I can carry on working on the brakes. Easy as that. It's not dropping off it though. I say it's 250 bloody kilos. I'm surprised if it dropped off it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go. Yeah,
Just
there, mate.
give that a shove this way.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad I got the dollies out instead of trying to do that on the jack. That was the original thing. I was just going to leave it on the jack and try and leave the jack around, but that's so much better.
How are you meant to get to him now then?
Still not very easily. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Pretty stupid. To the moment that I can relieve the car of one of its brake discs. This has been a real ordeal. Everything about it has been difficult. This might have been a good bit of engineering in the 60s, but in terms of maintenance, it is absolute crap. It's really, really bad, and this has not been easy. But here we go. This is the moment. See, it's still fighting now. I don't know how it can be. There it is. It's out, and there's the reason for having had to do this. That's pretty bad. Yeah, pretty bad. And this is what victory looks like. The process of getting here is involved about 46 different spanners, a very, very angry impact wrench, some very sorry looking nuts, some strip threads, and a blowtorch. Bloody jags. And this is what we like to see. Lovely new discs, new pads, fluid lines all reassembled. Shock mounts are in and done up. It's just the half shafts left to bolt on now, which is going to be fun because we ruined the nuts taking them off and didn't do the threads any good either. They were in really, really, really bad shape. So I've got a new set on the way. They won't be here in time for Oulton Park, so I've cleaned up the threads as best I can. And in terms of nuts, we're going to be using whatever we can find in 7/16 flavour. I don't have much lying around because I don't tend to work very much in American, but yeah, my mate Sean is kindly going to provide some nuts, and yeah, we'll get these bolted back up, and then once the half shafts are on, she's about ready to pop back in the car. Good stuff. Live forever, and Robert Johnson. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, dark, and now I've stopped, I've realised how knackered I am, but it's done. The axle is back in the car. Thank you so much to Steve and Rob, who came and put their heart and soul into it. They were still here half an hour ago, 1:30. Awesome to have mates like that who are willing to put in a shift like that. It's brilliant. Sean as well, who's lent me all of his wonky American sized tools and come and shouted at me every now and then for doing it wrong. Yeah, it's been emotional, but that axle is in that car and it's got new pads, new discs, a few other bits I fixed while I was down there which were looking a bit crap, but yeah, she's back. I was going to try and sneak in a little review of Brands Hatch and a preview of Oulton Park and just talk about the racing a little bit, but I'm shattered and it's probably not a bad idea to clean up a little bit and get that done tomorrow. So it is now tomorrow. It's been a busy day still, so I'm just sneaking this in. Yeah, so on to Oulton Park. Never been around Oulton Park before. I've got a little bit of practice in the morning to try and find my way around and get these new brakes bedded in. And then I'm running the Jaguar races and the Pre-93 races as well, all on one day. So it's going to be a very busy day for me. Hopefully the car makes it. I've done everything I can to prepare it. It's full to the brim with fuel, so hopefully it will go all day. I mean, I might need to top up, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Hopefully it will go smoothly. I need to learn my way around, which is why I've taken on so many races, and I have no idea what to expect. It looks like a real driver's track, so I'm really excited for it. But then I don't know my way around it, so if it's anything like Cadwell, familiarity does help a lot, because it's very intimidating not really knowing where you're going, and I've got to work through that. But yeah, still feeling fairly confident because Brands was really good. I got, I think, my first ever finish on the podium in the dry on merit. Hard fought and yeah, really good race. The car was perhaps not perfect. It was very oversteery, which I liked. That's what I wanted. Some setup changes worked, but the tyres didn't like it, and it wasn't ultimately that quick. But I haven't changed anything because the car handles how I like it, so I'm happy to keep it like that for a new track. I'm not expecting to be completely competitive because I don't know my way around, so if I'm a bit slower and I've got to nurse the tyres a bit, that's okay, as long as I'm having fun. And yeah, with a car that's going sideways everywhere, it's definitely going to be fun. So yeah, on to Oulton Park. 22 Jags, it looks like, and a standalone grid. Our first standalone grid this year, which is really rewarding for the changes we made and the sort of tumultuous period we had over the off-season. We took a bit of a gamble moving the series around, and yeah, 22 Jags on a standalone grid is definitely going to be a sight to see, and I'm really excited for it.